Joan Husted was a driving force behind the creation of the Hawaii State Teachers Association in 1971. She served that organization for 36 years, the last 7 as executive director. Everyone I spoke to about her said 3 things: smart, tough, fair. She, like every person at this table, has received honors and awards aplenty. But it's something that she's quoted as saying that convinced me that we needed her here tonight. In 1998, Joan was recognized by the Star Bulletin as one of the 10 who made a difference. And in that article, where again, she was referred to as smart, tough, and fair, Joan is quoted as saying, "Schools are the linchpin of a democracy, and teachers are the key to making schools work. And that's what gets me up in the morning." Well, thank you for getting up this morning, Joan.
Rather than call the system broken, I consider the system dysfunctional. And I think there's a distinction between that, because a broken system doesn't function at all. And yet we know there are a number of youngsters coming out of our public schools who are doing great things. And we know there are thousands of very, very good teachers. They are doing their very best, despite what the federal government has told them they have to do in their classrooms. And so I think it's dysfunctional. I don't disagree with that. And I think there is a lot of dead wood within the system. And I will tell you very frankly, good teachers don't like bad teachers, and there are some bad teachers in that system. And they're there in part because of all our faults. Because sometimes we don't want to speak up against what's happening with our colleagues. Sometimes we're afraid our kid's going to get in trouble if we complain about a teacher and they're going to get bad grades. There's all sorts of reasons that happens. But I can tell you that teachers in this state don't like those kinds of teachers, and they just assume they go away. So in Dr. and Professor Roth's paper, he talks about how it's very hard to get a teacher out, but I'll tell you why it's hard to get a teacher out. And I think Gail will probably agree with me, and that is the span of supervision for most school administrators is something no businessman in this town would tolerate. In addition to all the things they've got to do in a school, they also have to know what all their teachers are doing. And it's an inhuman, impossible task. And the other problem we run into is many school administrators do not know the grade levels they're supervising. In other words, they're high school chemistry teachers who are elementary principals, who are telling kindergarten teachers, your kids are making too much noise. And we have to figure out a way to make that system functional and make it work. I have some recommendations of how I think things might happen. I know we talk about money. The late John Burns once said, if I have to choose between the child and the dollar, I will choose the child. Today, that saying goes, if I have to choose between the child and the dollar, I'll choose the dollar. Because we're in the process of a self-fulfilling prophecy. We've convinced ourselves that our school system is so bad that we shouldn't give it any more money. And so we have this squirrel cage, this going around and around and around. And I think there's time to pull a thread on it. I wouldn't go quite where Randy goes, but I would make these recommendations. And I don't know if they're, technically they may not be legal, but I was a negotiator, so where there's a will, there's a way to get it done. Number one is I would suspend the Board of Education for a period of 6 years. I would put into place an educational czar appointed by the governor. I'd give them 6, and the third thing I do is tell Roy Takumi and his friends, you stay out of public education. You fund the Department of Education, lump sum funded, but stay out of it with programs. No fair coming in and saying, we want bicycle safety, we want swimming, we want this, we want that. Stay out of it. Give the DOE the money and let them spend it.